Oh, here we go. And we are live. Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee, and we got a full house tonight. Tommy Wells.
Hello, hello.
Jason Kiefer for One More and I'm Out of Here, and Andrew Pappas from One More and I'm Out of Here. Welcome, everybody, and we got stuff to dive into. I don't want to forget, Merry Christmas to each of you, and I hope that it's a safe one and a good one, and I'm looking forward to it. We are hosting Christmas at our house for the first time. We our in-laws, my in-laws, are given that responsibility. They're handing off the baton to us this year, and we've been preparing. So we look forward to having a house full here, and I hope everybody has
What are we cooking? What are we cooking?
Man, Pappas, I'm cooking pork roast, turkey, ham.
You frying a turkey?
No, I'm not a big fried turkey person. I'm going old school. I'm gonna bake it.
Oh, you've lost your
mind.
I'm not a big fried turkey person.
You're gonna have to steal that. Gonna have to take that Louisiana man card away from you.
Well, if you can bake a turkey and it not be dry, then you're a man. And I can bake a hell of a turkey.
I'm coming over.
It's a true statement, though. I get that too.
Yeah, anybody can fry a turkey. I mean, you take it, put in the grease, baking a turkey, and it not be dry. That's talent.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll have to take your word for it, but ain't nothing better than a fried turkey. I'm just here to tell you.
If it's fried right.
Well,
I haven't been. Are you? What are y'all? Are you frying one, or you're going to be all over? You're not probably.
No, I'm not frying
one on the road.
As long as you don't use that oil that you used to fry the catfish 2 summers ago, it usually turns out pretty good.
Yeah, we're not known to change oil around here.
Nah.
So what about y'all, Tommy?
We're hosting Christmas as well. We're going to bake a turkey and have all the usual fixings, and so I'm excited about that. I just got my wife. It was funny this morning. I was having Cincinnati tradition. I'm sure you guys are familiar with liverwurst, and I was having on some rye bread, and she kept like totally stressed out about this FedEx order that was coming. I'm like, "What are you doing?" So all of a sudden, FedEx shows up across the street, and she goes to the door and she's standing there, and then they come over to our house and they bring a box. I'm like, "What is going on?" She had drop shipped my favorite bread from this bakery in Wisconsin. It's called Brötchen. It's a German roll. I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I'm going to be having that late after the show tonight.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Is that crazy?
No, sounds good.
It is. It's really good.
Okay, what have y'all finished y'all's Christmas shopping?
No,
dude,
no.
It's early.
I'll do that. I'll do that too.
So I started mine yesterday. It took me 30 minutes. 30 minutes on the couch, Amazon.
Yeah,
and it's all coming in the same box.
Wow.
A couple on the same day. They
That's
kept
very
saying,
good.
add to delivery, I tell you, I got about 10 things coming. My wife was impressed that I started this early. Normally it's Christmas Eve. But
I know, I'm like that too. I like to just like go out and hit like Christmas Eve and just like
it kind of puts in the Christmas spirit. When my daughter was little, probably since she was 2, and she's 23 now, we had a tradition that we would go Christmas Eve, we would go shopping for my wife, buy her a gift, and then we would go eat lunch. So we've had that tradition. But, I don't think we're doing it this year. So I just, went ahead, just ordered something on Amazon, did all my shopping in 30 minutes, and I did pretty good, though.
Hey, don't even wrap the box. Just throw a ribbon on top.
I'm not doing all that. Why wrap it? For what?
Well, what's the point? Throw a ribbon on top. Boom. You're done.
What about y'all, Jason?
So Jill had to drop Zoe off to her father up in Columbus. So we don't have Zoe this year, but we'll go to her aunt's on Christmas Eve, my brother's Christmas day in the evening. But this year will be kind of a fairly low key. But we took Zoe to the play Hamilton on Friday, and that was part of her present. She's really into theater and that, so she absolutely loved it. I'm super surprised. So we got to do that before she went with her dad. So we'll get her back in like a week and a half. So
where was that playing?
Down at the Aronoff.
Yeah, Jason's a big theater guy. Jason is he likes to get You ever seen the costumes from Dumb and Dumber when they're in the tuxedos?
The leisure suit.
The orange one and the blue one.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
half of each.
Oh
And he
my
goes
God.
down there. He goes down there with the top hat. He's really
Just
something to see.
Just because I'm a little cultured, Andrew. Don't be upset. Don't be
You're a
upset.
little something.
So Brittany's baby's going to be 3 tomorrow. That's awesome. Happy birthday to him. Merry Christmas to y'all.
Falk.
I am I am fortunate. You know, I've got my best friend since I was a child. His wife's birthday is Christmas Day, and his daughter's birthday is probably today or tomorrow. So I can't imagine being that close to Christmas having birthday. That's a lot, but you know,
Throw it all in at once.
yeah. I mean, I guess you can look at it that way. Get it all done.
Yep.
Well, at least, yeah, you get it all done, and you got the rest of the year not to worry about remembering anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into this. You know, and it seems like we talk about this every damn time, and it's because they will not stop. It's just getting worse with us as Republicans just destroying each other. And I don't know how much y'all saw the AmFest from Turning Point. Very disappointed in some of it. The AmFest is about the youth, and the AmFest is about turning the youth conservative. That was Charlie's biggest mission, was turning our young people who are the future of our country conservative. And what is and I don't know what y'all's opinion of Ben Shapiro is. I think I've never been a big fan, but after the way that he, especially now, y'all know my my crush on Megyn Kelly. He went after Megyn, so he crossed the line. And so Ben Shapiro, she don't need me. I can promise you that. This guy needs to just shut up and move to Israel. He does not care about the United States, doesn't care about America. He, for some reason, and I'm going to play his video in a little bit, but for some reason, he has nominated himself as the gatekeeper of the conservative movement and who we should excommunicate and who we should allow in it. Who the fuck are you little fucking midget? I have had enough of Ben Shapiro. And that, to me, that was not the place. He to go after Tucker and to go after Megyn and to go after others. This was a place to unite. And I don't know if it's a strategy and we'll get into that, I guess, if we're purposely going to throw the midterms. But I think if we don't get together real quick, we're in a lot of trouble. So I know I said a lot. Let's go around the table and just kind of give y'all's thoughts. Jason?
I got to watch, like we were talking before we went live. I watched some of it. I fall asleep with the TV on, and I'll catch clips here and there. But I saw a couple good interviews. I did not get to see Shapiro's. I wish I had. And I'll definitely go back and look at it.
I'm gonna play in a little bit.
But it was cool to see some of the youth that when they wanted to form these different turning point chapters, like where they were, I guess, hitting a brick wall, for lack of a better term, and then all of a sudden kind of broke that wall and got enough people to do it. And there were two really nice young ladies who are the presidents of their chapters, and I can't remember which schools they are. You can give me $1 million, I wouldn't be able to name them, but very liberal schools. But they pushed through, they persevered, and they got enough people to form a board and actually get it going. And listening to these two young ladies talk, it was very inspiring in the fact that, hey, look, we know it's not really liked around here, but we're going to do it anyway. And we think that this is a good thing. Some of the things that came out of it that I got to see, I thought it was a great event outside of, a couple, and we talked about Nicki Minaj sitting up there, on a platform. I don't necessarily agree with that either, but I mean, overall, I thought it was a neat event, and to see some of the the youth that got some of these chapters together and keep pushing Charlie's message forward is great.
Tommy, what have you seen anything?
Well, I listened to a little bit in the car. We were doing that Christmas shopping today, so I got to hear some different excerpts on Fox News there about it. Here's what I would say as far as if there's strategy involved. I think it is smart to have people like Nicki Minaj and Russell Brand and people like that who I think people might assume are on the left side of things, being out there speaking pro Christian, pro conservative movement. I think that's good to break down that sort of barrier. The thing that bothers me is less about AmFest. What I'm really getting frustrated with is all this, like you were saying before, James, about the bashing and stuff. But I frankly, what are the Republicans doing in Congress? You know what I mean? Like I realize we have people that are on these different
thing.
What's that? Nothing.
I can answer that. Not a fucking thing they're doing.
And I don't know if they're all just scared to do anything because Trump's large and in charge, and he's basically maybe he told them to stand down. I don't know. But I feel like, I'm glad there's this wave of movement for the youth. And I agree. I think it's terrible to see, people cutting each other down. I will say this. Now, I'm not super, I wouldn't say I have a huge depth of knowledge on both Candace and Tucker. But I honestly, right now, I have absolutely no respect for either one of them. I think they're horrible people, what they've been doing. And this whole 9/11 conspiracy crap and all this, Charlie Kirk conspiracy crap and all this stuff, and how Candace is on there. Oh, I'm still alive and all this other stuff. But what is wrong with you? These were people that I used to respect and think were defining people in the Republican movement, and now I just think they're crazy, and that's not helping us at all.
So, Pappas, I know you've got definitely opinion with Tucker. What's your opinion of Ben Shapiro and what's going on with him and Tucker? I know you said on the show a couple weeks ago that you were a big fan of Tucker and you think he's lost his mind. But does that give Ben Shapiro the right to keep just fucking hammering it and continue the division? And if you don't, he's making people like Megan and others pick sides. And who the fuck are you little midget?
Well, you nailed it pretty well when you said, he's got one loyalty. That's to Israel. Who else is kind of like that too? Who I do like, who's very, very smart. Mark Levin is very, very smart. But Mark Levin is also, a huge supporter of Israel.
He's almost worse than Ben.
At times.
At least Ben's Jewish.
I think. Oh, Mark Levin's Jewish too.
Okay. I didn't realize.
I think. He's much smart. Not to say Shapiro's not smart, but I think Mark Levin is smarter than Shapiro. And I've liked a lot of what, in the past at least, I've liked a lot of what Ben Shapiro has said. I don't like how he says it. And what I mean by that, his personality is prickly-ish. He's not a warm fuzzy.
Right.
He's not somebody that you're like, I agree with him. Let's go have a beer. Let's hang out. What are you doing after the show? He's not that kind of guy. He just comes off as kind of a prick. Maybe it's just me. That's just what I take from him.
You nailed
it. And the problem is when you're like that, and then you decide to go after people that are, that you have more in common with than not, that should be your friends. I mean, that's always it's always my gauge. We're never going to get along. But you guys, you did nail this portion. AmFest is about the youth. It's not about us old people.
Yeah.
Us old people, we know what we believe.
We are who we are. We're who the fuck we are, whether you like us or not. We're who we are. It's the young people, Pappas.
It's the next generation that they are trying to reach, and they've realized, and it's not rocket science, but they've not only realized it, they've been doing a very good job. And so for Shapiro to hijack that venue and then come out and attack other conservatives for whatever. Now, what's wrong with Tucker Carlson? I heard Tucker's speech. I thought it was totally off base. I thought it was wrong. I didn't like not much of it at all. But I can't answer what these people are thinking. I think a lot of, remember now, Tucker Carlson is an exceptionally, comes from a very, very wealthy background, wealthy family. I don't know how much of a true believer he is of this conservative stuff. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of times, and when people have had the spotlight shined on them, he had a great show, great following, could virtually do no wrong. And the settlement with Fox News and the lawsuit, part of it was you got to get rid of Tucker Carlson. So there goes a lot of his notoriety. And when you do that, sometimes when you were in the spotlight and you're not, you try to start doing anything you can to get the light, look at me, look at me, look at me. So I don't know how much of this stuff he truly believes or how much of he's saying just to get the spotlight shown back on him. And unlike Candace Owens, who I just think is batshit crazy right now. I mean, to be fair, what about, Marjorie Taylor Greene has had her moments, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Well, she's getting married. She's getting married again.
Who, Marjorie is?
Yeah. Love of her life.
Oh, yeah. Who the fuck was that? I just saw that picture the other day of them sitting there like holding hands like holding each other at dinner. Oh, who is that? Who's she engaged to?
I think this might have been part of her leaving Congress. He is I don't know what news outlet he works for, but he's White House correspondent.
Yeah. Yep.
For some outlet. And, I don't know when that relationship started, but I mean, it wasn't but a couple of years ago that her husband had bought her a CrossFit gym and she had a couple of them guys in the back room at the CrossFit gyms. So I don't know when this happened, but she's definitely not on my high list right now.
Are we talking about happy endings?
Yeah, we're talking about happy endings. She was giving CrossFit lessons and happy endings in the same place. But, she has gotten, I started following her recently on Facebook for one reason. Every time she posts something, I respond with the same thing. You quit. Shut up. Go home.
Can't argue with that.
I mean,
yeah.
You get more active and more vocal when you quit. You quit. You quit for a reason. Shut up and go home. Nobody cares what you think anymore. Nobody cares about all your accolades and all this stuff you have.
You try to play it of, well, my constituents deserve better, blah, 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 blah. No, you quit.
They deserve better than a
shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Idiot like her. I probably should have played this first, but let's go ahead and play the Ben Shapiro speech.
So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA. Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend,
characterizing
Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter. And when Megyn said this week, quote, my goal and my job here is to try to understand, yes, where Candace is coming from on this, and says she sees no purpose in inserting herself, quote, into this on one side, that is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
I think he's using Erica Kirk on this, and I don't like it. I don't think he gives a fuck about her. He's using her for his agenda. And what he's misspeaking on Megyn, first off, women can say things when it comes to hormones and when it comes to birth of a child that we can't say. We can't speak educated on that. But when he said that, she has a kid that I think is less than 6 months old.
Who, Candace?
Yeah, Candace. That's not the same as...
Dude, she's talking crazy. I mean, I know so many women that have had children.
Megyn was trying to say, she wasn't defending her. She's like, hey, I'm going to give her a little grace. She just had a child. I mean, she just had a child less than 6 months ago. So what Megyn was saying nicely was, hey, maybe her hormones are fucked up. Then he starts comparing her. He's going to compare her to Ilhan Omar, who has a kid that's like 5. That's not the same fucking thing.
So probably with her brother.
Well, there are some problems when you start reproducing with your brothers. There are some, or there tend to be some problems here.
But again, coming back though, I don't care how you slice it. What Candace has been saying, I mean, unless she's had mental health issues because of her, motherhood, which I seriously doubt. I mean, the things she said, I've listened to quite a bit of what she said. It has nothing to do with raising a child. She's just talking crap.
I agree with that, but it was just Megan was just trying to it's like, hey, she turned so fast, so drastically. Something's got to be fucked up.
I think what Megan was doing was actually the tactful approach of saying, in a way, let's not air our laundry publicly. Let's have these. What does it serve? First of all, Ben Shapiro has a podcast, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he does. Right?
He's got a couple podcasts.
Okay. The place for him to come out and say what he said is on his podcast, not standing on the stage of AmFest showing the youth that we don't get along. That's not the proper place. He can have that opinion all he wants, and he's always going to fall on the side of, you can never condemn Israel, you can never go against Israel, and a lot of that I agree with. But the place for that discussion is on his podcast. If he's got a problem, and secondly, I'll tell you this: I do listen to the Megyn Kelly show a lot. Her show is almost second to none. She takes no shit.
Yep.
She takes no shit. She has credibility, not only from her journalistic background, but also the fact, it wasn't long ago that her and Trump were not the best of friends.
Well, no, it was pretty bad. Her and Steve Bannon too, and she has Steve Bannon on the show all the time.
Right. So she has the ability, at least in my mind, that she can overcome her past grievances if you put past, whatever aside and focus on moving the ball downfield. You think she's going to have, which she said, if Shapiro considers her a friend and says that about her on stage, I don't want him as a friend. I mean, to be honest with you,
did you hear her
like
response?
that? No, I did not.
Okay. So that's pretty much what she said. So that leads me to that. So he wasn't invited to AmFest for that. He was invited to AmFest to promote and spread the conservative movement. He wasn't invited to do that. You're right, Pappas. It should have been on his show. And see what the domino effect of that was. The next day, Tucker gives his speech. All right. So Tucker had to come out. We don't even know what Tucker's first speech was going to be. So now he put Tucker on his heels. So Tucker had to come out and take his weenie out and wag it a little bit. So that took the message away. He's probably got a little weenie. So that took that message away. And then Megan comes on. Megan comes on, and Megan had 20 minutes. And she was being interviewed by Jap Pacific. So you know what the whole interview was now?
About Ben Shapiro.
And she did say, I don't consider him a friend. Friends don't. He called me a coward. I'm not a coward. He knows me better than that. And I don't consider him a friend anymore. So all that did now, because Megan probably had a really good message for the young people.
She always has a good message.
Yeah.
She's such a good
So what
speaker.
that did was that one charlatan, that one little fucking midget on the first night gives his speech, and he fucks the whole thing up. Because you had some really good voices that were going to say some really good things. Jason, what's your take? We've been kind of taking all the time here.
No, I'm in complete agreement. Shapiro, I've never been able to place where I wanted him as far as when I'm listening.
Yeah.
I get sit there and listen to him. He brings up some really good points, but then all of a sudden he'll go way off the fucking reservation. And again, not the platform that you needed to stand out there and start calling all these people out. Because like you said, the Republicans are eating their own. What message are you putting to these young people that are sitting there that have either, I don't know if they had to buy tickets or whatever, but they've spent most of their day being there. What message are you putting out there?
I agree with that.
It makes no fucking sense to me.
Well, it's putting the spotlight on himself and getting him the attention.
Yeah,
And that,
he's trying to be the new Charlie Kirk is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but he
And
can't.
he has
Can't
no.
because
He
he
can't.
has. You know, he like I said, he's smart. I've never said he wasn't smart. I don't think he's like I said, he's not as smart as Levin,
right.
but he is smart. But you know, it's so much more being being the new de facto Charlie Kirk or whatever is so much more than being smart. You've got to be likable.
Yeah.
And if you're not likable, you can be the smartest guy in the room. A problem I have often, but you also have to be likable. A problem I have often too. So, I mean,
I think
you know,
I think Cincy will agree with you for once. I think Cincy's going to agree with this one.
well, I mean, you have to be likable.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
if you are not likable, you can have the best message in the world, but no one wants to hear it. And Ben Shapiro's personality is just very curt, very short. He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of empathy. I never come across as he's a really emphatic guy.
No, he can't be Charlie Kirk for a lot of reasons, but here's one of the main ones. You know, it's just like a couple of weeks ago. This guy's so far out of reality. They were talking about on the show that he has with three other guys, and Matt Walsh is one of them. I'm a huge Matt Walsh fan. Matt Walsh could be the Charlie Kirk. If there's anybody that could replace Charlie or step in his shoes, Matt could be that guy. He's a relatable guy. But they're talking about AI and AI taking over the world, and and Matt's real against it. And he's like, what if it puts everybody out of work? Well, Ben Shapiro says, well, that just gives you more time to spend with your family and more time to get closer to God.
What are you gonna eat?
And Matt Walsh was like, well, look, we got like bills and stuff. So what are we gonna do for work? The guy's worth $50 million. He's so out of touch with reality. And then he goes on this big thing about we don't need Social Security because he can't imagine, why would anybody retire? He can't imagine himself ever retiring because you're a keyboard warrior. What about the guy roofing the house? What about the guy pouring concrete? You think he wants to do that till he's 80? So that's how far out he's so far out of reality. It's not even funny.
You know what I think Shapiro is? He's the Judas Priest.
What is that? I can't.
Judas Priest.
He's the Judas Priest. He's the one in the mix that's gonna, I mean, I don't even like to make this comparison because it sounds, but I will say this: when I saw what happened with Charlie Kirk and learned, I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't really follow him much. Obviously young people were much more in tune with him. But when I looked at his trek from the time that he got going and what he stood for and how he lived his life and how he committed himself to his faith, and then how he was martyred like that, I'd sit there and think, boy, if this guy isn't the closest thing to what the story of Jesus Christ is, I don't know what is. And no one's going to fill that vacuum. I don't care who Ben Shapiro thinks he is. There's no way in hell that anyone else is going to be Charlie Kirk.
No, I agree with that. And so I'm going to play two videos. So this is my big issue with everything that we've talked about so far, is while we are, once again, just eating each other and going at each other, we've got this. This is what we should be concentrating on, because, and I'm going to show two videos and then we'll comment what liberals are getting away with while we're just killing each other. We should be concentrating on this. This bitch lied about her son being stopped by ICE. He was not stopped by ICE. And she's just going to get away with it because we're fighting with each other.
Typically my son goes to Friday prayers with his friends, and then they all go and eat at their favorite restaurant in Cedar Riverside. And I knew, I saw videos earlier in the day from Representative Mahmoud Noor and others that the ICE agents were in Cedar. And so I kept calling to see,
calling him.
Yes,
your
calling
son.
my son to see if he was okay, if he had any run-ins with him, and he wasn't answering. And eventually that night I did get a chance to talk to him, and I had to remind him just how worried I am, because all of these areas that they're talking about are areas where he could possibly find himself in, and they are racially profiling. They are looking for young men who look Somali that they think are undocumented. My son was born here, so was the young man that they harassed. And he did say, you know, they did come into the masjid while he was there praying. They didn't do anything.
They came into the mosque.
Yes, and they left. And then, yes, he did see them at the restaurant. They just walked around.
So if y'all remember, that's not what she had said.
Correct.
A couple of days beforehand. She said her son was racially profiled and stopped. So look what's happening while we are killing each other. This is what we should be focused in on as conservatives, is calling this kind of comment. Nothing's going to happen to her. She's not going to get censored. Nothing's going to happen because we keep allowing the mainstream media to give them a pass. And what the hell is
Somebody's
that?
phone's ringing.
That's probably Pappas. So the mainstream media is not going to do it, but as our conservatives with the biggest platform are worried about Israel. So that's why I think we're in this position. So I'm gonna go on to another one. Let's see, y'all. If y'all want to comment on that one while I pull this one up, that's cool.
Well, I was going
I
to say,
find it amusing. I mean, obviously, with
go ahead, Jason.
good.
Oh no, I was just
find
saying
it amusing with the fact that she's in the limelight right now because of her idiot governor.
Mhm.
She's again pulled, and you know they're two peas in a pod essentially, and now all this shit, and like you said, she said one thing and now she's talking out the other side of her mouth. It's absolutely, I mean, I'm not shocked, but it is amazing.
There's never any consequences for them, Jason. There's never a consequence for any of them.
Correct.
Right. But see, it's always, and I agree with you. The problem is it's always been that way. We've talked about that before. The left wing is the side of no consequences and there's no accountability, and the right wing is the side of responsibility and grown-ups. And it's never going to change. I don't care how, if we can get rid of her, we can get rid of Gavin Newsom. There's always going to be the left wing is going to take that side of the crown, which is they want to have the rules benefit them.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, she's also got, let's be fair here. Not only should we be hammering her on, I mean, the lying about her son being detained is actually the least of what we should be hammering her about. Should be hammering her about the fact that she lied on a form that said when she came over here. The other thing is that she lied. It's becoming more readily apparent through many reports that I've seen that she actually did commit fraud because she actually is married to her brother. So at the end, which to get for immigration purposes. So as far as I'm concerned, this is, you know, what I've found liberals to do is when the spotlight even begins to go in their direction, the first thing they run to do is claim victimhood. So she saw an opportunity to deflect away from the lying that she did on not only the form of when she came here, but also apparently who she married. They're a little too closely related. We frown upon that in the United States. The fact of the matter is she might have some very serious issues to answer for. So she chose the victimhood path, and everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry that, you know, oh, they pulled your son over or they profiled your son. Meanwhile, I believe they say that half of the 18, I think it's 8, what is it, 8 or 18 billion? I can't remember. But
I think it's
the
18.
amount of fraud has been committed by the Somali community in Minnesota in one state, and of which she is the de facto leader of. I mean, that's another thing that should be hanging woefully over her head. But it's just easier now to, you know, it's the Democrat playbook. When you are cornered, when you are in trouble, whenever you don't have anything else to say, what do? I'm a victim. And that's what she's.
Well, this is a good lead into this video. That's exactly what this bitch does.
Oh, this fucking clown.
I'm going to refer you to the screen.
I don't review those documents, so you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I
I'll give you time to
allowed
review the
Mr. Wade to
documents.
bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened.
Him like me.
Thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense.
So exactly what you just said, Pappas. Exactly what you just said.
How about we do some simple fucking math, you clown? You build out 160 hours a week, and there's 168 hours in a week. You dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he slept, and the Drinker Bros talked about this. He slept for 1.9 hours or like 1.5 hours a night.
Yep.
He was there at 7:45 when he's only supposed to be there till at 8:30. Jason.
He's a leader.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely a leader, and so is she. Apparently, I mean, you could see how she talks. That's exactly the leader I want to fucking work for.
So Pappas, first thing she did exactly what you said.
That's what they do.
What about the people? Nobody called her the N-word.
No,
Nobody
that's
wrote
easy.
anything on her
Let me
house.
tell you something. Let me tell you something. The funniest thing about that is the Democrats think they have the moral high ground when one of their players' teammates is African American. What's the first thing they do? They pull out the N-word, right? I was called the N-word. Blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, for example, here in Jason and I know we have a former trustee here that just got unelected here in Anderson Township, the first African American elected to the Board of Trustees in Anderson Township history. Do you know that not only was she called in private chats of the Democrats the N-word, but publicly worse, almost worse than that, they called her things such as the step and fetch it child, which has really bad racial connotations. But, you know, we don't have the playbook on our side of running to victimhood. That's not what conservatives do. And in her case, she just ignored that and kept running her race. She didn't focus on it. On a Democrat side, if, you know, Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, the whole 9 yards is, you know, when in doubt, you're the victim, attack based on your victimhood. And that's what they do. And they're very, very good at it. And personally, I thought I heard today, did I hear today, you guys can correct me. Did I hear J.D. Vance say something like, in America, we're no longer going to be embarrassed that we're white or something along those lines? Did he say something like that?
If he did, good for him.
I didn't catch that. I did hear him say it doesn't matter if you're black or white, rich or poor. He went through a litany of all these different things that this country is going to be for all of us. But I did not hear that unless it was in an earlier part of the speech. I didn't hear that what you just said.
Well, I mean, in too many times, listen, I have been labeled misogynistic, which I don't like massages, so I don't know what that means. I've been labeled racial, racist, which is the funniest thing of all because, you know, even by whatever measure, that's not true. I refuse to allow your labels when you don't have anything else to do. You throw a label and you think that just because I'm white and you try to call me a racist, that suddenly I'm going to be like, oh, no, I'm going to back down. I didn't mean it. So I'm sorry. That shit doesn't work with me anymore. And I don't think it works here in America anymore. I think we're tired of that playbook. I really do.
I've said that many times. I'm not apologizing for being a white man.
Yep. I will say this. I have noticed, and I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing. Like I get a lot of different things on my Facebook feed, both conservative and liberal. And I have noticed that anytime there's some story, like maybe like, for example, with like the video you just played, James, like in the comments below tend to right now, it just seems like overwhelmingly, obviously people that are conservative or people that aren't going to listen to any bullshit. And I'm very happy to see that because it used to be the other way around, but I've definitely noticed a shift, you know, even on pro left side, you know, sites, that there's a shift to people calling out the BS. So I hope that's, you know, well, you know, I hope that'll carry through to the ballot box next year.
I mean, it's lazy. It's actually laziness. It's just laziness. When you've lost the argument, Okay. When you've lost the ability to persuade somebody based on the facts of the case, it's just too weak of a crutch to go back to, well, you're a Nazi or you're a racist or you're a fascist. I mean, most of them can't spell fascist. And I don't blame them. Sometimes I forget the C in there too. It's tough. It's hard to spell.
But I'm talking about, have you noticed that whole Nazi and fascist rhetoric has really died down?
It has, because people are tired of it. It's the same old.
That's what I'm saying. People are calling it out.
Same old liberal playbook.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, I don't know. You know, I hope that people are getting tired of it. I really hope that it is working. But I'm gonna tell you, they keep doing it. And again, nobody's calling them out on it. Whether it's working or not, I don't know, and I hope it's not. But why are not more people calling out these type of lies?
I think politicians are gutless for the most part. Trump's the only one that's willing to do that. And he goes a little far sometimes, but I mean, in general, he does a very good job of calling out BS. And I think people like that. I don't know why the Republican members of Senate and Congress aren't more vocal. I think they're scared. I think they all are very self-serving and, you know, I mean, on all sides there. But I don't get that either. Right now, when you've got the overwhelming majority, you need to be setting the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And, you know, Pappas and I and Dan as well on our podcast talk about all the time. Like, we don't like everything that Trump says, but Trump will deliver what he feels, how he feels, and it's in a normal, to me, in a normal tone, an everyday tone versus a politician tone. Yeah, most politicians are, you know, they're polished.
That was beautifully said. Yes,
I called him out this week really hard on and I don't know what y'all's take. I had a busy week and I didn't watch y'all's show. So let's discuss this before we go to our next video.
We will forgive you this once.
Dan flaked on us, so we didn't have one.
Oh, okay. So I think what he said about Rob Reiner was disgusting and beneath the office of a president. Now I think Rob Reiner was a fucking asshole, and if I'm Trump, I would not like Rob Reiner. But you're the president of the United States. You do not make comments like that about not only a man that died. How worse of a death is that, to be killed by your own child?
Yeah,
that's despicable. I think Rob Reiner, like I said, he was an asshole. He's a raging fucking lunatic, and I agreed with nothing that he said. But we can't have the stance. Look at all of us, the way that we reacted to the liberals, and then the Trump didn't celebrate his death. He just said Rob Reiner was an asshole and I don't like him. You know, I'm paraphrasing. But I just think as a president, he should have just gave his condolences to the family and kept his fucking mouth shut. But he doesn't have the ability to do that. So yes, Jason.
If
I'm not sure why.
Cut the middle part out, like you had the beginning part and the end part, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But somebody would have yelled about that too. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I agree with you on that. I don't think
we definitely at one point out here did not condone, and we talked about it, you know, at length. Of come on, dude, like you can't say that type of shit.
And my point was, you know, here we are, even though we're not jock riders, we do defend him a lot, right? So what is he doing to us? You know, this loyalty thing that you're supposed to have to each other as conservatives, and your conservative president if you're a Republican. Well, what about the loyalty to us? You got us over here working without a fucking net. When you do things like that, we're supposed to defend you. Come on, man. And, you know, give us something here. You know, give us something to defend you on. If that's what you expect from your supporters is to defend you, then give us something to defend you on. That's where I stand on that.
Well, James, I wrote a strongly worded email to Carolyn Levitt to get to the president because, to your point, you're not helping us defend ourselves when Cincy 513 wants to come at us. So we need you to think a little bit more for us versus you, Donald.
Yeah,
that's something he's not good at. He is way too shoots at the hip, And my question, let me ask you guys this. Why did he even comment on it? What does it have to do with him at all? I mean, yes, it was a terrible thing that happened and it deserves comment, but I don't think the president of the United States needs to comment on that.
I think it was a personal vendetta because
it was.
But hey, he did say,
be the better man and don't
exactly.
Now,
exactly.
Okay, the only thing I'm going to say, and I stand by what I just said, but Rob Reiner did say, and I'm paraphrasing again, something to the extent of, when he was shot, I wish he wouldn't have moved.
Dude, let me.
Right, but that's him saying that. I mean, all kind of people say stuff like that. The president doesn't need to comment on that. He needs, like Jason said, he should have just maintained the higher ground and said nothing. If somebody would have asked him about it, he should have just said, horrible thing that happened to him. I hope that, condolences to the family. Done. Yeah. That's what gets you respect. But doing what he did gets all the left wing all frothed up, and it makes us unable to defend him at all, and it weakens our position.
I agree with Pappas.
The thing is that we all, I don't know very many conservatives that didn't react. As a matter of fact, I don't know any that didn't react to Trump's comments exactly as we have. Because we said the same thing on our show. I've heard many, many people say, national talk show, conservative talk show hosts say the same thing. The difference is between us and liberals. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have still yet, even though we started the show talking about Charlie Kirk, they don't criticize their own. And we are open-minded enough and fair enough to say, we don't agree with what Trump said. That doesn't de facto mean everything he says is wrong. Okay, there's a big difference here. I wish he didn't say. Well, you guys are exactly right. We talked about it. Wish he didn't go there. Rob Reiner, the man, went above and beyond to be a prick to Donald Trump.
Yep.
Specifically. I mean, I don't know the number of tweets, but it was almost every day.
Oh, he was a lunatic. He was
a flat out lunatic. And, I'm not going to be, I said on my post, I said, deepest condolences to him and his family. Couldn't think of a more horrible situation. And I mean that.
I do too.
I do. My personal opinion is, I find a lot of these Hollywood famous types or people that take up these causes that then it's discovered that their family, because let's be fair, his son has had drug problems for years, was homeless for years, has had many mental illness problems for years. And I feel like these people, sometimes their consumption with their cause, whether it be liberalism or environmentalism or any other type of ism, detracts themselves from focusing on maybe healing their families.
Compensating for their lack, yeah.
Well, maybe healing your family and spending a little less time railing on either big oil, big energy, conservatives, the president, whatever the case might be. You might want to be a better dad and less of an activist. And I'm not blaming him for his son's problems, but my point is, get your own house in order before you go clean up my house. You know what I'm saying? This is the house of the United States.
That's a really good point. And I can't help but think about, and I'm not saying that Donald Trump's kids are perfect, but he's got some good fucking kids, man. Successful, smart. I think Don Jr. is kind of like him. He likes to, stick his wick a little, few places. But other than that, his kids are very successful. They're hard workers. They were given good opportunities, but they all work. They're not Hunter Bidens, and they're definitely not Nick Reiners. So I think there has to be something said about the things, everybody trashes Donald Trump as far as his morals and some of the things that he's done. He raised 5 fucking pretty damn good kids. Let's give him that too.
He did manage to raise some good kids. You're exactly right. And to be fair, a lot of people say that, kids turn out badly because they don't have the opportunities that other kids had, right? That's an easy cop out. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that Rob Reiner's son didn't have every opportunity that other kids probably
Every
didn't have?
opportunity. Every opportunity.
Are you telling me that Hunter Biden didn't have every opportunity that other kids don't have?
Uh-huh.
See what I'm saying? So
It's
the
a
point of
liberal
the matter
mindset.
is,
It's that liberal mindset too that they're raised by.
the point of the matter is it's not necessarily the fact that you're given the opportunities, like, you know, maybe to go to the best schools or the best Ivy League schools or the best prep schools or whatever. Maybe it's a bit more of the fact that you come from a home where, you know, you're getting love and support from one or both of your parents. See what I'm saying? That starts in the home, and the government's not going to replace that. And that's not, I'm not trying to, you know, I can probably hear some liberals saying, oh, he's saying Rob Reiner was the reason his son. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe Rob Reiner would be alive today had he posted a little bit less on Twitter and spent a little bit more time focusing on his son's needs and maybe trying to heal his son. And that's, I'm not being cold. Doesn't detract from the tragedy at all. It's a tragedy. And I hate the fact that Trump said what he said. He does, you guys are right. He kind of leaves us out here hanging. But I'm not going to also say, oh, he's Donald Trump, he can do no wrong. We'll be happy to call him out when he does wrong, just as we're happy to call him out when he's right. The difference between us and liberals is they don't think he does anything right. Everything's wrong. So no matter what he said, they would have criticized it.
Yeah. Well, real quick, there was a very telling interview where they had Nick and Rob Reiner on a show. It was a little excerpt, and he was talking about the fact that at a young age they didn't really connect because Rob Reiner was interested in baseball and he was more interested in basketball. And I thought, and that's exactly what Pappas just said. If he would have maybe focused a little bit on what his kid was interested in, that may have. I'm not saying that would have changed everything, but it might have, because kids need the reassurance and support of their parents. And I guarantee you that Trump, no matter how much of a jackass he can be, I guarantee you he never made excuses about success with his kids. He probably taught them this is what you have to do to get ahead. The hard work is what pays off, and that's where you see the difference. I hate to say it, in most situations between conservatives and liberals, is that liberals make excuses.
So I saw an interview with Eric Trump, and I have no reason to believe that this didn't happen. He said that they were in the construction business, and he got his start out when he was 16, 17 years old. His dad put him on a dozer and said, "Hey, figure it out."
Yep.
And that develops when you do things like that with your kids. That develops a work ethic. And of course, they had every opportunity, and they were fast. They didn't stay on the dozer for 20 years, but I think that's a philosophy that a lot of people that are billionaires don't have. They would have started him in the front office. He started him on a fucking dozer, and I think that might have something to do with that type of success. So before we go with our closing thoughts, I want to introduce this week's Mama Luke of the Week. This fucking guy here, dude. I don't know if y'all seen this video, but he is an assemblyman in Providence, Rhode Island, where the Brown University shooting was.
Oh my God.
Have y'all seen this?
No, but that thing.
Mommy, get ready for this one. Get ready for this one. Here we go.
The public, please stop referring to him as the brown shooter, as this has an inherently Islamophobic connotation. And
are you fucking kidding me?
Brown because of Brown University, not because of the color of skin. Right. We are also asking the public to please stop posting photos of Mufasa Carmax. We would, for the sake of diversity, really like to pin this on a different ethnicity, because it is unfair to keep blaming Islam for every violent act they commit.
Okay, I thought this was AI at first.
I am actually fucking shocked, James.
Wait, hold on. Y'all realize this is not AI. This is fucking for real. Pappas, this is fucking for real. This guy's really an assemblyman, and he really said this. I didn't want to be wrong, so I did my research. This is not AI. He really fucking said that. And he really
like to pin it on a different group
because the guy was brown. They were saying the brown shooting because it happened at Brown University, you fucking Mama Luke.
Did you hear what he said before? We'd really like to pin this on somebody other than Islamic.
Yeah. They admit what they're doing. They admit what they're fucking doing.
Oh.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I want to be surprised,
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not surprised. I just
That's fucking gold right there, though.
that
Holy
is
shit.
gold. I'm gonna have to
and
get
that
that.
guy's been on
Y'all
a
haven't
few
seen that?
videos.
Wait, y'all haven't seen that yet?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I
I've seen it.
haven't
Do me
seen
a
it.
favor and send me that link. I want to see that again after the show.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Well, I was watching those press conferences during that thing, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, there is no, I mean, that whole thing, somebody said it today, Providence is the Reno 911 of law enforcement. That was the worst series of press conferences and idiots who didn't know when to speak and when they didn't know when to shut up. And I'm like, are these guys for real? I mean, that mayor and that white-haired idiot that kept he would whisper things in people's ears that you could hear right on the microphone. I'm like, oh my God.
He can't speak English. The police chief whose English is not his
Was
first
that to
language.
do with the glasses or the attorney general? Because they were
I think
both
it was
idiots.
Well, there was a taller white guy with glasses that had white hair, and he would lean in and whisper into the, like to the mayor's ear or into the police chief's ear. And I think it might have been the AG, but whatever, he would whisper in the ear, and you could hear it in the microphone. I'm like,
So Tommy, I had some other videos, but I'm gonna save them for when me you and Joe can get together.
Yeah,
because we have some problems right now that I want to do a whole show with us three just talking about
law enforcement
communication. What Cash Patel throwing all get off of fucking Twitter, giving misinformation, and it's because we're creating this. Who wants to be the first with the most information, and they're really fucking things up. And I think that we have to go back to the old ways of public information, where it's the lead agency, it's a coordinated effort. Hey, we're going to give updates same thing y'all do on critical incidents, Jason. We're going to give updates every 12 hours. We're not going to have a bunch of fucking cowboys from every agency that's helping sending out tweets, because then you look like a bunch of fucking mamalukes.
Well, I told Jill, I was like, one of the greatest classes I went to was enhanced incident management at Teeks in College Station, Texas A&M, and you had to go through each position, logistics, finance, incident commander, PIO, and when you were in the PIO position, like they ran you through the ringer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, don't lie to the reporters, because these are like trained reporters, and they would blow you the fuck up.
Yep.
That university president had no business being in front of a microphone.
No.
Get a
Oh no, she was terrible.
Oh my God, it was embarrassing. Like
I felt
bad.
The whole college law enforcement system is unique in a bad way, to where the ultimate boss of the police chief is a fucking academia.
Yeah.
Is a college president.
You probably got the right pronouns. So
yeah. So that's but Tommy, I want to cover that. That's what I want to cover. You and Joe.
Okay.
There's some serious problems that it's as a profession, if we don't get a hold of, then we're just going to keep digging ourselves graves on that.
Hey,
So,
Craig, you guys would know more about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the location of the alleged shooter that killed himself, that wasn't even, I heard that wasn't even discovered by the police, that was a private individual using his own computer that came up with that. Is that correct?
That's correct. They were able to link him to a storage unit, and when they went there, based on the citizens' information, they discovered the body in another storage bin. Right.
So the police weren't even, or the local police, the school, Rhode Island school, whatever, they just followed the advice. This was a tip from a citizen that led them to this.
Yeah.
A homeless dude that was living in the building where the shooting happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like fucking real world Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
I've never seen
to take Cash's phone away from him, because he had no business tweeting about this. This was the FBI. They might have been helping. This was not their scene. This was not their place to release information on.
Right.
They at best they were assisting. They were not the lead agency. They've got to quit jumping in every fucking thing. And Cash has just got to calm down, man. I just
he's another high strung one.
Yeah,
well,
I think
Bongino's going to be out, and Cash will be right behind him.
Yeah, I think so too. I've got I got some inside information on that.
Well, let's not share it right now.
No, we're not, but I do have some.
He's not going to share anything with you, Pappas. You
Yeah,
can't keep.
I'll share it off camera.
Fair enough.
So, give us some closing thoughts, Tommy.
Well, I would just say that there was an incident. This will be out there for my law enforcement brothers out there. Incident this week in Canton, Ohio, where a police officer was nearly shot to death by a shoplifter who pulled a gun out of a backpack, which he didn't apparently after not a terribly thorough pat down. And again, for those out there, protecting and serving still, don't be afraid to do your job. And two things: search people, and if somebody pulls a gun on you, shoot them. I don't understand why the officer. Yes.
And the gun misfired.
Correct. You can hear the gun. If you listen
in his hand, and
yes,
if you pull the trigger, misfired or it wasn't loaded. I can't remember.
Well, I think it misfired. You can clearly hear, if you listen, you can hear the firing pin drop in that thing, and that's when the LP person came over and tackles the guy, and the cop. I don't know if he had his gun out when he appears in the video, but. Again, I think the guy tried to get reacquire him as a target, but anyway, the cop came in and kneed the hell out of him in the chest, which was a good follow-up move. But
I did watch the kneeing in the chest in slow motion. That was delicious.
Very, very satisfying.
Jason, what about you?
Well, I want to wish all you fellows a Merry Christmas. We've got a lot of work to do, as we've discussed, as far as conservatives and Republicans. We got a lot of work to do, but let's take time to hang out with our families and kind of just dust the shit off in 2026. Let's start it out great.
I think it's going to be a good year. Pappas?
Well, I don't know if Jason believes in Christmas, but I do wish him a Merry Christmas. And
Kwanzaa.
Ramaha and Kwanzaa. I don't know, man. The holidays are here. I'm just going to try to unplug a little bit. The world's not going to stop turning, and let's not get too wound up in it. Let's remember this. Let's remember this crap's been going on a long time, and it's going to be going on a long time after we're gone. So let's not let it become. Let's not let this politics. I mean, yes, it's serious. Let's worry about it. Let's work to get our people elected. But let's also remember that, this is not the end all be all. Life goes on.
That's right.
We live in the greatest country in the history of the world. Let's appreciate that. Let's pause this season, and let's give thanks to where we're at. Let's try to make it better. God knows we try, and these liberals just can't. I can't figure them out. But for at least the next 2 weeks, I'm not really going to worry about it too much.
That's right. There's no sense in trying, brother. You never figure them out. Great advice, though.
So my closing thoughts are real simple. And first off, Merry Christmas to all our listeners, and thank you. 2026 is going to be a big year for us. We got some things in the works, and it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. 2025 was definitely the end of 2025 was really good for me, and conservatives, real simple. Quit fucking eating each other, and let's stick together, and let's make some things happen.
Let's be thankful. Hey, James, let's be thankful for what we got. Last time I checked, all right, Donald Trump took office how many months ago?
11
months ago. Okay, interest rate, the inflation rate was at 9%. Just came out, it was less than 3%. Gasoline, I don't know where it's at you're at, but it was $2.30 in Ohio the other day. That's after the governor already raised fuel taxes. Okay. Yeah. It's the first thing he did when he got in office. So without that additional fuel tax, gas would be really close, hovering right at $2 a gallon.
Yeah.
And, people are complaining. What people need to understand is we've had 9% cumulative annual inflation for the last 4+ years. And you're not going to see prices necessarily come down, but what you're going to see, hopefully, is the rate of those increases start to slow and moderate. You've seen that.
Yeah, they're never going down. They're not going down.
No, because that's deflation, and we can't afford to have that. But what you can see is that the rate of the growth is going to slow. I saw eggs were close to $2 a dozen. Why, as conservatives, we lose sight of let us take our victories and promote our victories and not always say, but. Are there problems to solve? Yes, there are problems to solve. Do I wish they would have had a healthcare plan of their own that they're going to roll out and replace, instead of this discussion on extending the subsidies for Obamacare, which has driven the cost sky high. I wish they did. Hopefully they will. But I'm also going to acknowledge the fact that in 10, 11 short months, this man has turned this giant ship known as the economy of the United States completely 180 degrees around. It seems like, at least in my very limited, dumb perspective, we're headed in the right direction.
Well, I think that's a good thing to close on. So,
Beautifully said.
yeah,
My deferred comp is doing very well right now.
oh, yes, ours too. So, until next time, probably next Sunday, McGee, Kiefer, Wells, and Pappas are out.